We're back. I think we're back. Last time we left off. Yeah, we are. Last time we left off, we were playing some other games, EVE Online stuff. Um, and I decided to kind of take a break from streaming for at least a little bit because nothing was super inspiring to do. And since I have ended one of my campaigns and I'm not currently running one, I've kind of slowly been, building up the want to run games again. And with that build, you kind of come to, some sort of idea as to how you want to run it, how things you can improve them over what happened last time. And I have some kind of ideas for some like homebrew roles and stuff based off of some of the stuff that I've seen in the new like D&D 1 stuff, some of the stuff I've run or played with in other games from other people running it, and of course as to what my future games may potentially look like. And I think what we wanted to work on initially is some nice, cool, I guess, rules for extended rest and downtime and stuff, which are all kind of going to get merged into one. Flexion, hey, how's it going? We're going to work today on some cool new stuff. Now, I have Fantasy Grounds open because I want to kind of put it together and kind of put a module together for this so I can use it in games in there. And we may end up like putting together because I think guns we'll do sometime today. I want to change up my older rules for guns, but I think for now we're going to do at least a little bit of work here on Google Docs, just typing stuff out. Sometimes just typing stuff out helps us imagine and think of like how things are worded, how the mechanics are going to work and operate with each other. And the wording is sometimes actually is very, very often quite important for fifth edition and Dungeons and Dragons in general. So let's see. Downtime. I don't know how to spell. Downtime. No, we don't want to do downtime first. Rests. Let's see. So I already kind of have some idea for this. So there's rest. So there's short. Short is, and I'm not gonna put the actual definition stuff. Uh, hit dice. Hit dice for healing 1 hour. These are the important things. Hit dice for healing 1 hour. Rolls for extended rest, roll a D100 aside. If you have a nightmare, nightmares reduced rest buff by half. I don't want to take anything away from people. The extended rest, what I'm going to try and do as we're kind of like trying to build out here is for long. I don't know how to spell. Long. So heal fully. My spelling is going to be on full display. My incapability of spelling is going to be on full display today. Heal fully. Restore half of hit dice. And it takes 8 hours / sleep, right? And it's important to like delineate that sleep is in there, I want to say. And then we're going to do extended. What kind of media do dads like? Oh, that's a good question. Is that a dad joke that you're pulling on me? Is that what's going on? Because if you want a truthful answer, I think it's just got based off what their hobbies are generally. But I'm sure there's probably a good joke in there. Pop culture, that's the joke. There you go. So let's see, short, long, and extended. This is kind of really tiny. Can I make this really, really big for us? That's kind of too big. What I can do is I can just make this full screen. Maybe not full screen, but bigger part of the screen here. And maybe that's a bit more readable as I'm looking over at the stream. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. And then we can reduce this back down. Why does this not look like 14 font? That seems really, really big for 14. Oh well. Let's see. So for extended, I don't know why I have a period in there. So extended rest is heal fully. I should probably comma restore all hit dice comma um downtime actions. And I want to delineate two. So this is part of the idea. So like extended rests are going to be for a week, and there are things that you can do. So this idea like has kind of slowly evolved because originally Matt Colville's Kingdoms and Warfare, no, Strongholds and Followers had an extended downtime, extended like rest kind of mechanic, and let you do things and train stuff and get some benefits from it. And I kind of want to take that, and I might actually like pull it open. I actually still have the book over on the nightstand over there, in case I wake up in the middle of the night and have to have some kind of D&D event to go on. So you get two downtime actions. We'll go into that. That's going to be part of those downtime rules I think we're going to put together. And then this is probably 1 week, right? I really want this to be like, yeah. Okay, so short, long, extended. And this is about 1 week. And you get two downtime actions because like you're gonna spend 8 of it sleeping every day. You're gonna spend 8 hours doing something, 8 hours doing something else. So those 16 hours are gonna be like essentially work things. Your characters, like realistically, they would want some downtime, but like to relax and chill out, I would imagine. But you know what? We're playing a game. You get two downtime actions. And what I mean by that is kind of the complicated part of what I want to work on today. Downtime during rests. Downtime during extended rests. So tab like that, maybe. Okay, so downtime during extended rests. Let's see. Part of this is how do I want to structure this sort of idea, right? Because I already kind of have the idea, right? But what is important? How do I structure it? And I'm kind of getting hung up on structuring it first instead of just putting down what I know. And so I think I need to like separate and put down what I've already got ideas for. So I think I'm going to go down like that. And so one of the downtime actions is work. Okay, so work, we're going to do like that. Each player character, each, I'm going to spell so bad today. Each PC can use a downtime action. Is that what we're calling it? Downtime. I want to capitalize that A so it stands out more. Downtime action. I might even bold those, but I probably not. Each PC can use a downtime action to conduct work to earn money. Let's word it more vaguely. Earn money, right? Oh yes, okay. Do I want to name it work? Okay, yes, I do want to name it work because I have an idea too for thieves, right? Thieves don't get to use their pickpocketing except in like very, very specific situations most of the time, right? They're not going around stealing things, right? But I want to actually put that into this, right? Each piece can use downtime to earn money. This can, comma, that should be a period probably. Through different means, like manual labor. Manual labor needs to be different means. We're going to fix different immediately. Different means like manual labor. Teaching. Teaching's an idea that I had that feels good. Comma, or teaching, performing, or potentially stealing. Okay, and I put potentially stealing in there because, for one, I want to kind of keep some sort of like idea of simplicity for what these roles are going to work as. Because, like, there are already rules for downtime stuff from Xanathars, and they kind of make sense, but like, not every campaign runs on a time frame that they intend with Xanathars, right? And so I want this to kind of work almost for like an idea of one of my games. Like I want there to be times where you take a week off that not exactly is like you not working towards your goal as an adventurer stuff, but isn't exactly you adventuring, like going out there looking for fights and stuff. Um, and I'm really tempted for some other stuff too that I think we'll talk about later. But we're just defining work, which I think is the biggest body of the downtime actions. You can use that to earn money. This could be through different means, like manual labor, teaching, performing, or potentially stealing. Okay, and so another tab there. We want this also to scale with player level, which is essentially player experience, right? If you're a first level fighter, the idea is that, okay, I want to go do some work. I'm going to go do some manual labor at a farm, right? Because I'm a first level warrior. Any guard is about the same level, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, right? But I'm gonna do some manual labor at a farm or something, make some money. You get to level 5, there's not a lot of guys who are quite as powerful as you, not as many as skilled as you and stuff. You're gonna make more money because hey, the local guards, they want to hire you to train their guys, right? The captain of the guard is gonna hire you. You're gonna train and run his guys through, some program or something, or teach them for a week or just, something. And they're going to pay you a lot more than you would if you just went and worked for the farm, right? Same idea, like as we'll pull up the teaching. Like you're a wizard, I'm a 5th level wizard. I can cast Fireball. I know more spells than a regular other wizard. Let me go teach some apprentice, or some mild student. Hey, my son might have magical energy. I'll pay you, a 100 gold or something. Some nobleman's son. Can you try and teach him and see what you can do, over a week, give him some stuff, some material, to work with, stuff like that. Let's see, for performing, of course, like, hey, Mr. Bard, you want to perform? You can come work at our inn for the next, over the next week of nights or whatever. Hey, you're actually, getting more famous and more popular and stuff. You're actually like an incredible, charismatic force, right? We're gonna have you in this special band. We want you to perform on a stage as like a guest, like actor or something, right? Because you're this famous person, potentially at least at the town level, at the very least, for these kind of people, or at the very least, like obviously you're super charismatic or something. And this is mostly just initial like work stuff. And again, like stealing, I want to like delineate specifically, separately. Not like separately, but like tangentially, like close to, and not in the idea that like I don't want people to like fail at this stuff. I don't want people to take downtime actions and fail and cause problems, right? So the idea of that, oh, I'm going to do manual labor. Oh, I accidentally broke like farmer's plow. Now he's charging me money. Now let's not waste time. We want to simplify that by saying none of these things can fail. And that includes stealing, right? You as a level 1 rogue, you're going to spend some time, pickpocketing, burglarizing, stealing stuff, and you might get valuable things. Also, I want to kind of bake in that aren't particularly just raw cash, which may need to be fenced or something. So I need to like also kind of incorporate that the fact that there's, you need a fence to like get rid of these objects and these items and stuff. But I want to have a guarantee, like you're going to go steal stuff and depending on your skill, like, oh, you're going to be safe, right? This is downtime. I'm a smart thief, right? This is literally your profession. That's your class, right? You're good enough to know what you can and can't go after, right? And as you like gain levels, like when you're a 15th level thief, like you're just going to go steal from wherever the hell you want and not get caught in a big town or something, right? Or you're going to go rob, of something or other. The vagueness of what's going to go on here is kind of determinant of like the setting, of course, and where they are at what level. Like a first level thief is like, okay, they're going to go do some pickpocketing in the market for a week, right? They're not going to do it all the time, right? They're going to sit there for 8 hours. They're going to pick 2 or 3 marks, and they're going to get something. No one's going to be the wiser, right? It's just going to be they just lost money. They got robbed. Who knows who did it? Under like 5th level, it's like, okay, now I'm actually gonna like burglarize a couple of times. I'm gonna go steal one or two things, maybe from the general store, maybe from the blacksmith or something. And again, these are things that you couldn't go like take back to them and sell to those people. You gotta have a fence for those kind of things, but those are worth more. Your 5th level, so I want to build in a scaling to this, and the scaling is going to be based off of, I think, just level. But do I want to incorporate a skill? Do I want to incorporate a skill? Right. Let's look at the skills. Let's make a character. How do I make characters? I make them through here. We're gonna make character. We're gonna be called Everyman. Just for no reason. I just need to look at the skills for now, Mr. Everyman. So the list of skills. Let's make sure we can have them all on the same page. Acrobatics, animal handler, arcana, and stuff. Okay. So need to open this here again, so you can see the list here. Good. It's kind of small for you guys, I know. I made this as big as I could, but we're about where we want. So I think I do want this based off of skill. I'm not certain. I'm not sold on that idea. I definitely want it to be based off of level. Let's start out. Oops. No. Let's start out here. This is just for like raw notes right now. Okay, so how much money do I want the players to make in one? Do I want a player? How much money do I want a player to make at 1st level, right? With one downtime action. What's reasonable? Is 100 gold for a week reasonable? It's kind of high. That's a lot of money for a 1st level character, just to be making it essentially a random town somewhere. I think we want to aim more for like 50, like half that, right? I want the players to be able to be like, okay, we need to get supplies. This fight that we're going into is going to be tough, right? And we want some healing potions. Those are the cheapest things that are like force multipliers that can really help us out in a fight that you can afford at level 1, right? I want them to think, okay, a couple of us are going to go work for money over this week, right? We're gonna make some money. We're gonna and we're gonna go buy a couple of potions, right? And actually, kind of want to work the idea of searching for like a herbalist as well to buy the potions for as well into this like downtime system as well. But I want we'll use the about, so the tilde here, 50 GP per week, level 1. Okay, and then next, so the end of this tier of working, right? The end of this tier is of tier 1, essentially, from 1 to 5, right? 5 is actually tier 2. 5 is actually tier 2 in my mind. I know in 5th edition, normally they judge it 5th level as tier 1 still, but I'm imagining 4th level is the end, because you hit 5th level, and the fact that you get fireballs, the fact that you get 2 attacks is a huge power boost. And I think is an important delineation between 4th level. So at 4th level, we want them about 200 GP per week, level 4. Okay, and then what do we want? What is level 5? What is level 5? So 5 is a big jump, right? What do I want players to be able to make in that amount of time, right? Is it 25 or 250 gold pieces? What can they buy with 250 gold pieces at level 5, right? What are the normal magical items that they have access to? Normally, they have a couple of magic items, right? I want to usually give players a couple of magic items by the time they hit 5th level, right? They're going to find them, they're going to earn them, they're going to build them one way or another. And I think that's good, right? The marshals really need magical items nowadays. So at 5th level, how much money do I want them? Because they need to buy more than just healing potions, right? They need to buy things like water-breathing potions, which are like 200 gold pieces. Which I feel like 250 gold pieces per week is actually pretty good. So is the idea that like 50 gold pieces every level? Because if we skew this up all the way to 9, let's actually go all the way to 9. Let's see. We'll go to 9 to be 450 gold pieces. That's kind of where it gets rough. I think better. Okay, okay. I think it's 250. I think it's 250 GP is still good. Not 25 GP per week at 5th level. Per week at level 5. Okay. This is just note taken. I don't need to. This does seem a little like off here, but what do I want that to look at 9? Because I think I want that to be substantially more, right? I don't want them to be able to. I don't think making, what did it be, 4,500 or 450 gold pieces per week. A 9th level character might have access to rare items, right? We're talking like potions of supreme healing. Actually, is 50 level? Maybe 50 level is good. The thing is, it might just be until you get to, say, like 13 or 14, right? Maybe that's where it starts to fall apart, because a player needs to buy, extra potions, right? Potions kind of suck, um, because of how rare they are for the most part. So I always give extra healing potions so they can actually use them, because healing potions are great. You get them. They're great for a 10th level party as much as they are for almost as much as the 1st level party, right? Healing potions are like, oh, that guy's down, I'm gonna go healing potion him, right? They get back up, right? They're one hit away from dying, but the problem is, oh, I've got a greater healing potion. I'm gonna pour a greater healing potion into them at a 10th level character. They're still one hit from dying. I'm gonna get a superior potion, right? I'm gonna pour that down their throat. They might still be one hit from dying. They might survive 2, maybe 2, but you gotta get superior, which is a much more. Is superior tier 3 the 3rd or the 4th? Supreme is the 4th. Okay, so I am right. Superior is after greater, and it's like 8d8. Supreme is like 10d8 or something. It's not much more, but them being able to buy multiple greater healing potions can actually like heal them. Like, I want them to have a decent bit of access most of the time. And if I'm charging 200 for graders, then 250 at 5th level works great, because I want them to have access to a couple of greater healings, right? And as they go up in level, as they're at 9th level and superiors and stuff, yeah, is that a lot? I'm starting to backtrack on my initial idea. Like, a peasant is supposed to makes 1 gold per day, right? Just a regular like worker and stuff. So 50 gold at level 1 is incredibly high, right? Right. I think the idea is at the high end, at 20th level, you're gonna make 2,000 gold pieces per week. That's incredible money, right? That's great. That actually still kind of fits, right? Are you gonna go buying supreme healing potions with that money? Maybe not, but at 20th level, your downtime should be measured in like months, years, if not decades, right, at that point. So maybe like literally having it 50 GP per level. Okay. So it's about 50 GP per week per level, right? That's what I want them. That's about what I want them to make. So if we're gonna add additional complications to the rogue, I feel like they should be justified for it, right? If you're gonna go steal things, but you might not get raw cash for it, right? You might have to fence that later, because you're gonna go rob things from people. I think we should give them kind of a justified like extra value to that, right? A thief you want in your party because when he goes and steals stuff for work, he is going to make you a lot more money in your party than anyone else will go working, because he is like, because we're removing the risk from this, as an idea, right? Because we're removing the risk of you getting caught for this during downtime. We're making it harder because, oh, you got to go fence that stuff to get the money. So you're gonna go fence it for the money, but we want to make more money as well, because thieves are good. Thieves are something that a party might not want as well, like roleplay wise, because we don't want to steal from people, right? So 150 per week per level. But what I think we want to do, let me go back up here because I think I have an idea. So you earn. Let's see. And I don't want this to be a rule either. I want this to be based off your stats. So a rogue, one of the cool things about the rogue and why I can work this in and kind of double dip. Rogue can make more money by stealing if this is a skill check. Why? Because rogues get expertise, which give them much higher skill proficiencies in stuff, right? So if we base a skill proficiency and off of how much you can make, if maybe if it was a roll, right? I'm already discounting a roll because I don't want to do a roll for it because that leaves a lot of like leeway. Oh, how much did you make? Who knows? There is random chance of things, but I want it to be consistent. Something that the players can rely on so they can plan for, right? That's important to me. I think that's important for players as well, right? So they can plan better. You're going to get this much money per week. We're going to buy this many potions and stuff. It's a really good tool. Consistency is a very, very good tool for the players and the DM. So they're going to make money based off of their raw bonus. So let's see. At first level, a rogue can get theoretically, your sleight of hand bonus can be +9, I think maxed out, right? You get 2 for 2 proficiency, 2 for expertise, and then 5 for your theoretical maximum dex roll. You don't have 20 dex at level 1. You shouldn't, but you could, theoretically. So they can roll +9. I think what we do, let's say, now we're going to do some wording. Now we got to work on the wording. The amount of money made by the PC is based on it's going to be based on the PC's level and one of their associated. I spelled that wrong. No, I spelled associated right. I'm just using the wrong there. Skills, right? Okay, so do I want? So players are only going to do. I don't have to explain this. I don't have to force this rule into the rules. The idea that you have to have proficiency in a skill to do this. Players are already gonna want to use skills they're proficient in to do their work, right? If I want you doing manual labor, right, you're gonna be doing athletics, right? Period, right? That's what you're gonna do, right? There's enough vagueness in all the jobs you can do. I want to teach someone. Okay, I'm gonna use my Arcana knowledge. I'm gonna use my medicine knowledge. I'm gonna use my nature knowledge. We're gonna teach someone. I'm gonna persuade people. I'm gonna perform for people, at a bar or whatnot, at a tavern. And those are the skills you're good at, right? The players are going to build their characters, and they're going to have at least some expertise. And there's going to be enough jobs, right, that you're going to have proficiency in something, and you're going to be able to do jobs if you want to with that character with your downtime to make money off of that, right? But again, like we're thinking, the minimum that any player I think is gonna have for a skill they want to use, right? They're gonna have at least 4 skills they're proficient in, and I think they're gonna have proficiency in some kind of like skill that they have a good stat for, right? Maybe there's so much dex stuff. There's only one strength thing, right? Athletics, but there's a lot of athletic jobs that you can do, right? So even the marshals who are going to have like +3 to their strength, they're going to have +2. I think generally the minimum of what these jobs is going to do is going to be 5, right? They're going to have +5 bonus to whatever this is, to whatever modifier we do on this. So I think what it's going to be, the amount of money made by the PC is based on. I'm rambling it on here because it's all in my head faster than I can get out in words. So I'm going to try and slow this down a little bit more. The amount of money made by the PC is based off the PC's level and one of their associated skills. Do I want to just say like the formula, or do I want to put down something like, um, like 1 week of downtime, work, working for one downtime action earns the PC 5 GP. Uh, is this times? Maybe I should just use an X. Like times. I should put this in a formula. That way, it's just explicitly known. 5 GP times the the PC's level times the, what is it called? The proficiency bonus? No, it's just the skill bonus, right? If we look here, we roll acrobatics here, 16. Um, hmm. Why am I blanking on like the names? I think it is proficiency bonus. Yes. Science or proficiency bonus of associated skill. Okay. So the idea is you get five GB times the PC's level, which is for first level characters 1. Then you add the proficiency bonus. Say you have a 3 strength barbarian who's proficient in athletics. We want you to train the guards and just run them around, around the woods until they get stronger. Build up their endurance. Okay, we'll pay you. We'll pay you. So 5 times your level, which is 1. Um, or should it be 10? I think it should be 10. Right, that's what we're going for, because it's 10 times the PC's level, which is 1, so we're at 10 still. Times the proficiency bonus of a first level barbarian with +3 to strength, proficiency in athletics. They would use athletics on that. That would give them 50 GP for working a week of downtime. A rogue with three decks, or with +3 2 decks, and they're an expertise in sleight of hand. They're going to do pickpocketing, so they're going to get +4 because they're expertise in sleight of hand, and they're going to get +3, which is 7. So they're going to make 70 GP throughout the week. So it's a little bit more money. 20 extra gold over the barbarian doing his job. But he might get something like, and I want to put this in words here in a little bit too, to say that like he may, or even the other characters might get paid in like, so they might get someone's ring, right? So I'm going to give you a gold band or something like, hey, I can't pay you for all this work or what you how you taught my son, but here's a signet ring that's worth this much. But it would also act as like you're a friend of the family if you show this to anyone, right? It could be like additional, like maybe bonuses, like non physical value and benefit. But obviously, like if you sell it and actually get the money value, it's not worth that. It's worth one or the other. Um, or like again, like the rogue's gonna go steal something, right? Because he can have expertise, he has a chance to make more money, but he may steal money, but he could also steal someone's ring or something, right? That's maybe for the DM to decide. How do I want to put that into words? PCs. Why am I hitting the wrong button? PCs. I'm goofing up on the keyword. I'm gonna goof up all day. Can be paid in gold, comma, or in some situations In some situations, uh, they may receive value in items, right? Such as a rogue pick. You'll see pickpocketing. I am real bad today. Rouge, not rogue. Such as a rogue pickpocketing ring of. I want to write down cash, but gold we'll put down. PCs can be played in gold, or in some situations, they may receive the value in items such as rogue pickpocketed ring instead of gold. Right? And so that could be something too. Like if I want to give them a ring, I can give them a ring. If I want to give them a gem, they can get a gem. Maybe I can use that too to like, oh hey, rogue is gonna. I think stealth is more like burglary stuff, and sleight of hand is thievery stuff for this work stuff. So if they're gonna go steal a painting, right? They're gonna get a bigger painting and stuff, right? It can be art objects. It can be jewelry. And I just want to put items in there in general because maybe he steals a sword out of someone's collection, right? This is a powerful sword. It can be, one of the things I like to do is use masterwork weapons, right? It's not inherently magical, but it might be a +1 to attack, but you don't get a +1 to damage, right? Or it's not magical damage or something like that. So a rogue, a 5th level rogue is like, I'm going to go steal a rapier from someone, right? A rogue would earn at 5th level, right? With our formula, so 10 GP times 5 is 50 times their proficiency bonus. At 5th level, they've had 1 ASI, so it's probably so it's 6 plus 4, so 10 10 times 10 times 5, so it's 500 gold. They're going to steal a 500 gold value something, and that might be they're going to go burglarize some rich guy's, maybe his wagon, maybe his home, maybe his museum, and he's going to steal a rapier. That's a masterwork rapier, right? It's not magical, maybe it's not the value of a magical item, or maybe it is. Like later, as you get like 9th, 10th, 11th level, you can steal a +1 weapon or something from somewhere. So yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Problem is like putting this into words that are clear, right? I can say this all I want. I can talk about it, and if you're listening to this, you have a better idea how this works. But I want to be able to put it into words simply, but but in a concise enough way that it gets the value. So each PC can use downtime action to earn money. This can be through different means like manual labor, teaching, performing, or potentially stealing. The amount of money made by the PC is based on the PC's level and one of their associated skills. Working from one downtime action earns the PC 10 gold pieces times the PC's level times the proficiency bonus of associated skill. All right, so I need to put in here something stating that I need to state something about the fact that you're going to be using a skill check. You're not going to be using a skill check, but you need to be skilled in the thing. PCs should be encouraged. Or maybe what is it? The job, the PC should be one that they are one that they're skilled with, comma, because do I want to put because because I want to write this very simply. I could put like a whole paragraph here, because I want to roll in both the idea that both the example that like okay, athletics is like manual labor or training someone physically in fighting. Acrobatics can be that too. I would say that. Animal handling could be like you're gonna take care of a flock of sheep for a farmer or whatever. Um, I don't know what deception would be. Obviously the players can suggest things to use these skills for, but history you can teach. Insight you can work with the guards and like catch a thief, right? Because you can insight do some detective work. Maybe with investigation as well, you could do that. Intimidation, I don't know. Maybe they'd hire you to interrogate someone as well and intimidate them, right? Just stand up for muscle. Or intimidation. You literally be outside the tavern as the bouncer and stuff, and be intimidating and make money that way. Medicine you can teach. Medicine you can perform as well. Nature you can teach. Nature you can do all sorts of stuff. Perception, maybe not. Some of these don't fit as well. But yeah, religion, persuasion, sleight of hand, stealth, survival. There's different things. You can almost always teach each of the skills if there's the correct people who want to be taught, of course. Um, should be one. I just noticed that typo. Should be one that they're skilled. They are skilled at. Period. I don't. I should word it differently. Jobs. I should say should be. Should be associated with a skill. I.e. is it I dot E? I don't know. For example, uh, manual labor is attributed to athletics. Athletics, comma, teaching can be to arcana. Spell that right? Arcana or see the thing is when I say teaching, I almost want to put all of them in there because you could teach almost any of these. Or almost any skill, comma, thievery. Spell that right. Yes. Be to be attributed to stealth or sleight of hand. Okay. Slate. Job should be associated with a skill. For example, manual labor is attributed to athletics, teaching can be attributed to arcana or history, or almost any skill. Thievery can be attributed. Okay, I think that's clear enough. That's what my attention is, right? Each PC can use downtime action to earn money. This can be through different means like manual labor, teaching, performing, or potentially stealing. Um, Amongst other things, I think the idea is, I think it's implied that that's some of the means. I don't have to explicitly state is other things. Job should be associated with a skill. For example, manual labor attributed to athletics. Teaching can be attributed to arcana or history or almost any skill. Thievery can be attributed to stealth or sleight of hand, etc. The amount of money made by the PC based on the PC's level and the one associated skill work for one downtime action earns the PC 10 gold times the PC's level times the proficiency bonus of the associated skill, which is very self-explanatory, right? It's just simple math. PCs can be paid in gold, or in some sort of way may receive the value in items such as rogue, pickpocket, and ring instead of gold. Good. Okay. What do? What else do I want to say about work? Maybe that's good enough for work, right? Maybe that's good enough for work for now. We can come back later because there's other actions we want to do. Uh, let's see. We'll put we need different and be taken. Many different actions will be taken during each downtime. Sometimes these actions can be limited by the location. Because I'm imagining by the location the PCs are taking the rest. Because part of the idea is that like okay, if at low levels, I want to be able to like take long rests in obviously safe areas, right? But most of the time, that's in villages and stuff. That's what we're imagining. But there can be a wide difference of villages. For me, what I like to do to delineate between villages is that maybe I'll put like this together. Actually, this isn't like something I would like explicitly state to the maybe to the players. I might do it depending on the situation. But one of the things I like to use is that there's four different types of like town or village or whatnot, and it's kind of a delineation. There's a like Nowheresville village that has like I want to say like 0 to 1 like people or points of interest, right? The Nowheresville, right? Farming town in the middle of nowhere. It has maybe a handful of people, right? The size isn't super important for this delineation, because it's good to be a little vague as well for these things. But it might have 1 point of interest, right? It might have a dungeon there, right? There might be a blacksmith there, but there's not more than one in the Nowheresville town, right? Next, you have like an actual village, right? Which is we'll say Smallville, right? Smallville is what I like to imagine them as. It's a Smallville town. It can have anywhere from 2 to 4 generally points or people of interest. So maybe I should write this down because it'll be easier to at least talk about. Town types. Town types. Nowheresville. I know I'm making this word up, but I still feel like I spelled it wrong. Okay, nowheres. Nowhere. Oh, I literally, it's a real word. Okay, it's a real word, and I did spell it wrong. Nowheresville. 0 to 1 people slash places of interest. Ooh, okay, I should probably just page break this down. We'll just hit enter. 0 to 1 people slash places of interest, and next we've got no. I guess we gotta enter Smallville. Of Of course, that's spelled wrong. Smallville. Smallville. Let's be 2 to 4 people / place. As places of interest. I'm actually just going to copy these. C. B. Nope. C. B. Okay. And this is going to be big town. Metropolis. Most of the time I don't actually like say this out loud. I just think of what it is in person. So like big town is probably 5 to 10, and this is of course like 10. Oop. I zoomed, didn't I? There we go. 10 plus people, places of interest. Okay. Right. And the size is kind of important, but not for other things, but like for a DM, right? What are the players going to interact with, right? People or places of interest, right? So there's Nowheresville, right? Do I need the little things here? Oh, I'm gonna Z that out. Remove that. Okay, so Nowheresville, 0 to 1 people, place of interest, right? You know, you can literally have a town that is nothing of interest in the game. Smallville is 2 to 4 people places, so right, they'll probably have a blacksmith. They might have a herbalist, but they also might have a general store. Like a general store is a place of interest that the players might be interested in. But so is a dungeon, right? They might have a dungeon nearby. There might be a thieves guild, right? A thieves guild might not operate, doesn't care about Nowheresville, but they might be that one, that one thing and one important thing there because that's where they're operating out of. I almost want to remove the 0 because I feel like there's always something that could be of interest in Nowheresville, and that's the thing. Like I almost want the players to imagine, like, oh, there probably is something, but in case I need to pull it out, there will be another place of interest or people or something of interest there that I could put later, right? And that's why I want people to. I kind of like if players like see this and are like, hey, what's the point of interest for this town, right? I want to have like a 0, but I want to be able to make one up later also. In case it helps fit the story or something, right? It turns out, oh yeah, there's actually some ancient graveyard buried 200 or a quarter mile away, and yeah, we just haven't been tending it for the last 50 years. That's probably why the green glow is coming from there. Something like that. Something that can come up later. And Metropolis is important because when I say people or places of interest, I mean not overlap. Because in a big town, there might be 3 blacksmiths, but I only count them as one people or place of interest, right? Do the players need multiple blacksmiths? No, they just need to know who the best one in town is, and that's the one they're going to go to, right? The one who can make them the best magical items or whatever, or who has the best equipment and stuff to do things. I'm not going to overcomplicate my games and be like, oh, this one's better at making plate and this one makes weapons. No. We're not going that deep. That's not worth. It's not worth the effort at my level of DMing. But Metropolis, yeah, like it's hard for me to imagine all the different people and places of interest, right? You might have a major like quest giver or something, right? In a Metropolis, that'd be one. You need a blacksmith, you need a general store, you need a herbalist, you need a mage, you need an important mage, right? You need different guilds, right? We're gonna put Thieves Guild as one of these. Let's see. You're probably a port town. You're almost exclusively a port town if you're a big or metropolis town. Definitely if you're a metropolis. I can't imagine in medieval times like there are many metropolises that aren't port towns. So there'd be a docks, right, as a place of interest. Just boats are a super important place of interest for players because going out and sea and doing stuff is super super cool and a unique part of D&D. But but that leaves what, three? I've got three options here. So there needs to be. So aside from like there might be multiple quest givers too. I think that's one of the things that like I could maybe add. Well, I probably wouldn't add fingers for the same way I wouldn't add for things, but there might be there's probably some place to like fight nearby, right? Some important like I don't know den of bad guys or something. There might be a dungeon as well, right? There might be up to like three or so like super important things, right? There might be like an experimental like engineer or something, right? Um, there could be like another point of interest might be like, oh, there's a goblin slum under the city that people don't like to talk about, right? The place of interest, right? There might be access to the Underdark. You know, there could be 100 different things in Metropolis. There aren't a lot of Metropolises um, in games because a lot of the things that Metropolis does is filled by a big town. And at some point, like separating, the points of interest is good because you want players to travel because traveling is cool sometimes. You can do a lot of things because of traveling, like you get random encounters and whatnot. And I think having a map is like a crucial core thing to do in a Dungeons and Dragons game that you play regularly, right? I play with my family with months in between before we play. Do we need a map for like the grand land that they're crossing? No, we play once every couple months. No one cares except what was the most important thing that happened last session. Someone got kidnapped, right? We're gonna go rescue them, right? That's the important thing. But if you're playing every week, once you get like half a year in, like keeping track of what you've done that whole time is super, super hard. But the easy thing to do is to remember what you did where. And if you have a giant map, you remember what was here. Oh, we had this town was where that guy lived. And you know what? We went to his house and we killed him because he was part of the Thieves Guild. And you know what? The Thieves Guild didn't like us because when we went to this town, they attacked us on the way there. And so you can actually plot out, as you move. And like we've been to this town 6 times, and and even though we've been there 6 times, it was always we were coming back from doing this, and this happened that time we were here. But we went here, came back, and this happened while we were here. Right? It's very, very easy for players to compartmentalize or remember things better if they have a map. That's a huge rant for me, but that's very, very important. But let's see, back to what we were working on. I kind of want to make this a little smaller here, like that, so I can see a bit more of this. We're working up here. Downtime during extended rest. Many different actions can be taken during each downtime. Sometimes these actions can be limited by the location the PCs are taking the rest, right? And that goes back to here, because there might not be people who want to, like, who want to pay a wizard to train their son to be a wizard, right? I'm not going to pay you to train him for a week because we're just a nowheresville town and we don't have any money, and no one would do that. We don't have the money. We don't have the money for some of that sometimes. So you might be limited by either how many people can work or like what types of work, right? There's always something to steal, but maybe it's just not worth enough, right? You're not going to get like the full value of the gold, right? If you're a 7th level rogue who would normally make almost 1,000 gold. You can't make that kind of money in Nowheresville. You'd steal the whole town and still be up short for the value of Nowheresville, right? So there's nothing to steal there. But also, theoretically, if you find a safe place in the wilderness, right? You find an oasis or something, right? You can't go work if you're just gonna go rest in an oasis for a week. That's a very weird situation. You'd only mostly take a long rest in something like that. But theoretically, you could be out of hit dice and stuff, and you're like, oh man, we need to sit here and kind of regroup, or maybe they need to, I don't know. Maybe we'll create some better uses for downtime other than work. But for now, that's what it is. Many different actions be taken for downtimes. Okay, one of them is work. Work is most important. We're going to put that right here. I'm going to... Okay, so work is one of them. One of the other things that is important is to... How do I want to word this? How do I want to word this so I can simplify a bunch of different things, right? I want players to be able to look for information, right? We're going to go to this dungeon, right? I need to figure out where that dungeon is. what can we learn about the dungeon? What kind of monsters might there be in there? Has anyone else been there? Right? Um, what um, what like adventures like other than people who've gone there before, like what might we find there? What gold are we going there for? Right? Are there magical items here? Is there rare ore? Is there gems? Right? Is there treasure? Is this a piece of junk dungeon that is just full of monsters? Right? Of course not. It isn't. But it's important to know what might be in there. But with that, that's like information gathering on a dungeon. But I also want them to have like rules for searching for magical items, right? I want to be able to find a magical item, right? I think my paladin would really appreciate an adamantine breastplate. That'd be really cool for him. I want to find that, right? I want to search for that. And if you're a 15th level character, I think that's reasonable, right? If you're a 15th level character looking for adamantine, that's well within your scope of things and power, right? But if you're a first level character, essentially impossible. So what I want to do is investigate, right? Investigate, right? Investigate. Each PC. I was going to copy from the top, but time action to. I want to use the word investigate, but I'm thinking if there is a better word. I guess investigate is best. To investigate. I'm the worst typer in when I'm streaming, of course. I'm goofing this all up. Each PC can use a downtime action to investigate. Do I want to just leave it like period? And then define investigating? That might be more efficient. Investigation can involve searching for dungeons, comma, investigation. Is that spelled wrong? It is. I've forgotten E, of course. Investigation can involve searching for dungeons. Learning about creatures. That's not spelled right, but thank goodness autocorrect's got me. Learning about creatures. Finding. How do I want a word like finding a blacksmith? Finding an alchemist. Finding. Do I want to just say people of interest, or do I want to like. Maybe I should just put finding blacksmith. Right. I should just say it, right? Finding a blacksmith. And that can be extrapolated later to finding an alchemist, right? Because these are just examples, right? It's not the sum list of everything. Or we should put or because it's not and. You're not doing all of these things at the same time. Each PC can use the downtime action to investigate. Investigation can involve searching for dungeons, learning about creatures, finding a blacksmith, or searching for magic items. I should say learning about magic. Yeah, searching. Because we already used learning for creatures. Okay, each PC can use a downtime action to investigate. Investigation can involve searching for dungeons, learning about creatures, finding a blacksmith, or searching for magical items. Right now, players can always like if I give them a map, they can always manually search for dungeons. Right, that's kind of what I did in the last campaign. Is that like they found a couple or they heard about a couple, and then they kind of saw I went to one. Oh, okay. We're gonna search here. Oh, found it. Right. They physically went on there on the map and searched around, used some actions, did some skill checks, skill challenges and stuff, and found the dungeon. They went they went around, found another one. Hey, and then they were like, hey, you know what? We want to find more dungeons. We want to find more magic items. And you know what? We're noticing a pattern. These are always near the end of a river, right where a river starts, right as it goes out to as a tributary like goes out to another river or another body of water like the ocean or whatever. It's always like near where it starts here on the map. So let's actually go to like the ends of the rivers or the starts of the rivers essentially, and we're gonna go search for dungeons. And so they figured that out, and they went and found more dungeons in those locations, and it was really really cool because they figured that out. It was really smart of them. Partially because I didn't plan that. That just happened naturally. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea, guys. I should put the dungeons there. Because it just those two had been sitting there. Those were good locations that I picked randomly initially. But it worked for the future. Plus, they were really clever about that. And I was like, yes, you recognize that, so I'll reward you by actually having dungeons in that location. Plus, it told me that they wanted to go do more dungeons. Right? They weren't interested in actually any of the other stuff that I was pushing them towards, like the thieves go kind of mess with them for a little bit, but once they were done with that, like they didn't want to go like build a business or like stick around or have a base of operations. Really, they wanted to go get magic items, to get magic items, to get magic items, to get more magic items, right? Which means if they can't buy them directly, right, which they were kind of trading with some, but for the most part, it was like go find dungeons because that's where they found all their magic items. But I digress because I'm rambling on. Each piece can use downtime action to investigate. Investigation can involve searching for dungeons, learning about creatures, finding a blacksmith, or searching for magical items. Right? And I want to delineate a generalized rule where I, the DM, can set a difficulty for those arbitrarily. So some of the things like I want to search for a +3 Holy Avenger. Okay, Mr. First Level Paladin, I'm sorry, it's literally something you can't do. But we're gonna hold that but there for a second because I want to add something later. Um, and I might say that but for a different like major point, or I might want to put it under this investigate. I think I want to put it under this investigate. I might put it under the next one too, which is like learning new skills and stuff or whatnot, or building something. Like crafting. Yeah, craft. I want crafting in here. There are rules for crafting, and I want to kind of like. I don't want to like completely throw all those crafting rules out. I want to like just roll them kind of in to be like, oh yeah, crafting, healing potions. How many can you make in a week downtime? Oh, it's this many, right? If you have that proficiency and stuff, right? And so you're gonna use one of your downtime actions making potions or something. Um, finding a blacksmith or searching for magical items. I want to put etc. after that, but I don't know how to spell it right. Um, PC's basic success is based on skill on a skill check related to. So here's the thing that I think is gonna be really hard to put into words. Right? I don't want this just to be an investigation check, right? Not every player has investigation as a proficiency. They don't have they don't have wisdom. Um, they don't have wisdom or proficiency in that skill. So I want to say the pieces that is based on a skill check related to how they are investigating. How they are investigating. And I want to be like, you can investigate as you expect. You can just investigate with an investigation roll, but you can go about. No, I should say, you can go about investigating many different ways. right? And the thing is, I mostly want to use examples for one to like give the players ideas of like, okay, here's how you might do this, right? Here's how. Okay, you want to investigate. You're a rogue, right? We go back to the rogue because the rogue is unique and is not unique, but is generally like the one class associated with stealing stuff. Like, okay, rogue, terrible investigating, but I'm good at sleight of hand, right? We want to figure out. I want to figure out where I can buy poisons, right? In fact, I want to buy, um, or I want to find, wyvern poison, right? So I'm gonna investigate. I'm gonna figure out where this thing is, right? And it's like, oh, there's wyvern poison. Uh, no, maybe that's a bad idea because you still gotta find it, right? You gotta find out where this is, and you might get it differently. Okay. Here's what it is. You want to know where okay, back to the adamantine chestplate. Okay, our paladin wants an adamantine chestplate, right? We have a blacksmith who can make it, but we need adamantine for it, right? So we need to investigate where do we get adamantine, right? And the thief is like, okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sleight of hand. This is a stretch. Burglary might be better, but I'm gonna go steal information from somewhere related to this, related to where we might find adamantine. Right? There's a exotic cargoes like trader in port, and I'm gonna go steal his manifest or in his logbook. I'm gonna make a copy of it, and that's gonna be like stealth or something that'd be based off your stealth. And we're gonna go and I'm gonna find out with his manifest in his logbook where he's getting access to some of these rare materials and stuff. And we find, oh, he has traded adamantine before, and he traded it from this place to that place. And here's this guy's contact. Boom, done, success. Right, great. We might impose more difficulty because that's not a linear like normal way for you to do that. You go about investigating in many ways. For example. For example, this is just might just be wordy. This might just be wordy, and because I can't think of a better way to simplify this, right? We're already like a page in. Well, it's technically less than a page because this is much bigger font than it should be. Um, oh, my face is kind of getting in the way of this. Should I move this over to the video capture device unlocked? Will move me over here. That should be far enough away, right? I think I cut and cropped my bottom a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right, good now. Kind of. Each PC we've done it. Let's reread it again to recollect our thoughts. Each PC can use a downtime action to investigate. Investigation can involve searching for dungeons, learning about creatures, finding a blacksmith, or searching for magical items. The PC's success is based off of a skill check related to how they are investigating. You can go about investigating in many ways. For example, you can search the library for old, we'll put text and maps to ancient dungeons. Or oh no, that's not the whole sum. You can go about this. For example, you can search a library for old text and maps to ancient dungeons by using history. Or I guess we'll do the thief one. You can steal a trader's logbook. A trader's logbook. Telling you where he buys his magic items. Maybe not buys, maybe bought, because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, you just find another contact and there's millions of magic items this other dude is selling. No, he bought this magic item from this person, right? You want magic items are very rare, right? There's not just someone who has all the magic items and delineates them out, and uh, in that kind of way. With I don't know, stealth or sleight of hand. I spelled it wrong. Slate of hand. It always reads like that to me. That should be a comma. I should move the or up here. I'm gonna have to reread this because the phonetics of this is gonna be tough. The PC's success is based on a skill check related to how they are investigating. You can go about investigating in many ways. For example, you can search a library for old texts and maps to ancient dungeons using your history. Uh, Using history. You can steal a trader's logbook telling you where he buys his magic items with stealth or sleight of hand. Uh, or let's see. Let's think of a third example. I'm trying to think of a way to like somehow get medicine involved in this. I think it's implicitly implied that like investigation is a very important one. What are the other things we can do? Search for dungeons, learn about creatures. Oh, nature. Should I give four examples for like each different thing? Like, library and old text for a dungeon. Finding a magic item is stealth or sleight of hand, comma. Let's use P, capital P. Persuading for persuasion. Persuading a mercenary. Ooh, maybe not a mercenary. Guard, because guard's more local than a mercenary. There's almost always some kind of guard nearby. Where he bought his sword. I spelled sword. He bought his sword. Okay, right. So that's and comma or what's the last one? Learn about creatures. Investigate with nature. Nature. That's I'm trying to do like the monster thing, right? And for the most part, it's like, oh, you want to go find a book with information, but I want to do something, something that's actual investigating with nature. I want to put capital N on nature to make sure they know it's the skill check. Um, to observe creatures. This kind of begets the idea that like, oh, you can go observe goblins or something, uh, and learn about their. How do we put that? Learn about their what? Like their weaknesses? I guess that's the main way you would investigate a creature. You want to learn about its weaknesses. But that covers all the other things that we mentioned up here. Investigation can involve searching for potential learn about creatures, etc. That's spelled right. Yeah. I feel like I should put etc. behind all of this. Let me just read through it all again. Each PC can use downtime action to earn money. This can be through different means like manual labor, teaching, performing, or potentially stealing, etc. Jobs should be associated with a skill. For example, manual labor is attributed to athletics, teaching is attributed to arcana or history, or almost any skill. Thievery can be attributed to sleight of hand, to stealth or sleight of hand, etc. Got how many made, blah blah blah. You may play any goals, that's good, etc. etc. Okay. Do we need to say anything else about investigation? Oh yes, of course. How do we determine how difficult this is and whether you're successful? Um, so the DM has to first off DM the DM decides a DC appropriate for the. I'm like hunched over. Let me sit up a bit better for the camera. Now that I'm in the corner, like staring out. Can I reverse my camera so I actually looks like I'm looking up at the stuff? I'd have to like physically look up like this, look up at it. Um, I don't know why I'm wasting any time like this. Flip vertically. That's not the right one. The fact that there's no flip horizontally is kind of disappointing. Is it in configure video? Maybe it is, but it won't let me do that. Oh well. Oh well, I'm looking into it, nothing. The DM decides DC appropriate for the task. I think I want to leave it like I want to say something like the task and the player's level, I suppose, because I feel like that's implied. I feel like that's something implied, like a first level character trying to search for a +3 holy avenger, right? Way out of your level, but theoretically you could work towards that. Appropriate for the task. And the PC makes PC makes a skill check. Control A. I'm just gonna shoot you down one just so it's a little bit more organized like that. It decides a DC appropriate for the task and the this DC with the appropriate skill. The game decides the DC appropriate for the task, and the PC makes a skill check against the DC with the appropriate skill. Okay. So it's just a skill check, right? I don't need to like go say, oh, a skill check is blah, 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 roll this, get that, and the other. Um, Maybe I should outline some rules for how I help a DM decide what the appropriate DC is. But that's kind of like that's kind of like core role stuff, honestly. Um, I think here, yeah, might be the best idea. Some some tasks may not be within the character's current skill or I don't need a comma or take longer to accomplish than accomplish than a week. Sometimes may not be within the character's current skill or take longer to accomplish than a week. If the DM decides they can. What is the best way to say what I'm trying to say? What I want, what it's called in other games sometimes is like a timer, right? Not literally a timer that is based off of time, but is based off of like successes. Um, so like I'm just gonna say how it works. Like, okay, a fifth level character, want to find a rare item, right? Okay, me the DM, like, okay, that's a little too much for you right now. That specific rare item, you want to find a cloak of a very rare item or something, a cloak of displacement. You're gonna look for that, and you know what? I kind of don't mind you getting that item, but not yet, not yet. So what I want you to do is you're going to work towards this. You're going to take a lot of time to work on this. And in fact, this might just be true of magic items in general as they go up in rarity, and not just. This is something really, really hard to put into raw like text rules and stuff for how I want this to go. It's a lot of feeling about how I think rare items should be and what level players should get items. But if it's a rare item, it's like, oh, I want you to get a cloak of displacement. All right, first off, you got to find out where one might be or get some information on it. But that I think as a DM is gonna take longer than a week, right? So I want you to work towards this, but you're gonna spend a lot of week that you could be doing something else theoretically. So I'm gonna reward you that you could get it early, but you might have to spend some amount of weeks, right? The DM might not even say what that is. But let's say for us, you need to have 5 successful weeks of searching for this before you find one, right? And so every time like the character is gonna roll, like, okay, I'm gonna spend one more like downtime use to find this thing. Okay. You roll, I'm gonna decide the DC is like 20, right? So you might roll like 2 or 3 weeks and fail and succeed on the fourth one. Man, well, good thing we took a whole month off, so we haven't gone leveled a bunch, but like I got a little bit closer to my goal, right? And then we go do some adventuring, we go do some things, we get another level, we come back, it's like, okay, we're gonna spend another month of downtime, so 4 downtime, so you've got like 8 downtime things to use. I'm gonna use all of them to search for this thing, and you get lucky, you roll, the next 3, you get 3 more successes with that. And so you got 4 now, or maybe one of them was a crit or something. You rolled like a 25 or 5 higher. How would I put that in text? That's really complicated. They can, I guess, require multiple successes over multiple weeks. And I need an example. Because this is very vague and can be interpreted in many, many ways. Period. Example, for example, fighter. Once +2. I should say what level fighter? 6th level. Once +2. For example, 6th level fighter wants a +2 longsword. Comment that. DM. He will need, right? Because I'm stating, okay, for example, the 6th level fighter wants a +2 longsword. That's not something completely out of the range of a tier 2 fighter, but it's something that is very, very good for them, very, very powerful for them. But the DM decides that he will need to succeed on DC. I don't know. We were using 20. I want a 15 check. And I want to say different times, right? So I want to say 5 times. On DC 15, check 5 different times. And this does need a comma. Yep. Let's see, fire wants to plus 2 long, so the DM decides that he will need to succeed on DC at 5 different times. This means may take. This means may take 10 or more weeks to track the item down. And right, and the thing is, when I say track the item down, I don't mean, okay, you found someone selling the item. I don't mean that, right? You tracked where the item, or maybe like you track where the item might be, or a clue to where the item might be, right? Something that puts you clearly on the path, right? I don't want them to like them roll these checks and succeed but fail, right? I want them to maybe I'll lead this into a quest or something, right? So this also gives the DM like kind of time to like, okay, it's going to take you a while to go do that. The problem is, what's to stop the players from just okay, we're going to sit down for 20 extended rests and take half a year and just search for a million magical items and stuff. You're like, okay, well, one, you can just say as a DM no, obviously, but this is part of what I'm trying to think for like a campaign specifically. Like, I want to have a campaign where things are happening, and if the players don't do stuff, things happen, right? So maybe there's a war going on, and you guys are hired as mercenaries to go do stuff somewhere, and if you don't get there soon enough, because you're wasting time looking for magic items, you fail, right? So I need to so you kind of need to force, and that's kind of a complicated and difficult thing to get right in a game. But that's something I want to try next time, so I can learn and get that experience to help kind of keep players thinking time is a resource as well. So that's really hard to put into text. I just kind of maybe I'll just feel it, right? This would what I'm kind of putting together is also something that I can hand to the players as well, right? I don't have to explain every single justification for everything I do perfectly, right? This is something that players like, okay, here are the things I can do. It talks about how difficult they might be, but it doesn't give me the answers to everything. Like, okay, so it doesn't tell them exactly what I'm going to do, right? This is an example. I might not even use this in this situation. Let's go with this again. Each PC can use a downtime action to investigate. Investigation can involve searching for dungeons, learning about creatures, finding a blacksmith, or searching for magical items, etc. The PC's success is based on a skill check related to how they are investigating. You can go about investigating in many ways. For example, you can search the library for old texts and maps to ancient dungeons by using history. You can also steal a trader's logbook telling you where he bought his magic items with stealth or sleight of hand, persuading a guard to tell you where he bought his sword, or investigate with nature to observe creatures and learn about their weaknesses, etc. The DM decides the DC appropriate for the task, and the PC makes a skill check against the DC with the appropriate skill. Some tasks may not be within the character's within the character's current skill, or take longer to accomplish than a week. If the DM decides it's appropriate, they can require multiple successes over multiple weeks. For example, a 6th level file wants to find a +2 longsword. The DM decides that he will need to exceed on a DC 15. On a DC 15 check, right? I'm not going to explicitly state what that character is using in this example. 5 different times. That means it may take 10 or more weeks to track the intel down, right? Move town types. What is control shift enter? I think it's a word thing. I need to insert like literally a page break. Yep. Oh, it did. Was it just shift enter? It was probably just shift enter. Oh well. Okay. So I want players to kind of use this downtime as like, okay, we're gonna go do something and then take downtime. I'm gonna add an optional role here, maybe later in a little bit, for like using. You need to use a downtime action to level up as well. That way, players kind of don't just go from place to place to place to place to place, level up mid combat somewhere, essentially almost mid dungeon or something. They need to go take a week to like gather their thoughts and stuff. I play in a game that requires you to kind of do that, but also requires someone to like you to pay someone to train you, which at we're at 14th level, not anyone even remotely close to where we're at as far as skill level. Um, so like we're kind of just ignoring that, of course, at this point. But we still got to pay the money and take the downtime to level up each time. And I think that's kind of good to some extent, but we also don't have enough downtime to do things. So like this I think is like a maybe a better in between, perhaps, because the older system that I was talking about, the idea was that you get 10 downtime days for every session we have, completely unrelated to the actual game. It's just related to whether you are at the session or not, right? You just get 10 downtime days. Um, and that was kind of just a divorced. It's divorced from reality, which is very very weird. From the reality of from the fantasy, I should say. And we have all this money, and theoretically we could go search for magic items, craft magic items, but we don't have quite the proficiencies for it, and we kind of don't have the downtime because we wasted all this downtime leveling up this whole time because it takes more and more downtime, more and more of these days. So we end up saving them to level up, and then we have 10 downtime days left. Okay, I guess we can make some level 1 healing potions, I suppose. But searching for anything actually useful for us? No, not at all. So I'm hoping this is a little bit better. I might even like change this, right? Downtime might be longer as you level up, right? That might be subject to change. That's kind of a thought maybe I have about overnight or something to think about more. Or maybe I run it like this for 10 levels and I'm like, okay, yes, clearly a week was not good enough. Because if they are doing like, I want to search for 10 weeks to do something, right? What are they going to do with the rest of their time? You know, stuff like that. But okay, let's do something else. We've got investigate. I also want them to be able to. What do they want to do with this? I want them to train. Okay, that sounds. That might overlap with the optional rule to level up as well. So I want to call that something different, not train. I want to learn a new skill. Learn new skills. I'm gonna put capital new. Learn new skills. Okay. Players may new languages or new proficiencies. I don't think I'm really tempted to like let players like become experts at a skill, right? But that's kind of stepping on the rogue's toes. Even though the rogue really only benefits like doesn't benefit that much because at low levels it's only +2. You know, at mid level it's only +3. At even late game it's 4 and 5, and you know at that tier anyway, like your stats are crazy high as it is. The difference isn't crazy, but I don't want to like build it. This is one that I'm also not sure on. Is like I don't want to like build it so that everyone can just have proficiency in everything. Everyone can know every language, right? I want this to be like you definitely have to take multiple weeks to learn a proficiency or skill. This is something you take a long time for. Players want to learn new languages or new proficiencies. And do I want to keep it with skills or tools? Are those the only two things there are? Because I want to keep all the martial stuff separate and not this, right? Because there's new D&D stuff from D&D 1. It's like, oh, you get like martial mastery of like weapons and stuff or other things. I don't want to go too crazy with this. I want to keep this very simple. Skills and tools is what this is going to be for now. Players want to learn new languages, new proficiencies with skills or tools. And this might be a very, very short thing. And the man, because of how different a game can be from one to another, um, even from tier to tier, like too, like it could be the same game from a different tier to different tier. You might have more or less downtime. So I don't want to like, I kind of want to put explicit rules as to like, okay, your first like new language tool, language or you know proficiency is gonna cost you 3 weeks of downtime, and you learn it, right? It might you might have to find someone. I'm gonna put like stuff in there for that. I'm gonna put a period here. And do so with this might be a placeholder for now because again we're just brainstorming today. I want to get to like other stuff today as well because we've already been going for almost 2 hours. I have not gotten all the downtime stuff out because I'm so slow at getting my thoughts together and putting it on into words. With downtime actions, as long as they someone is willing to teach him. We'll just put willing to teach them, period. I'm going to capitalize actions here too, because that downtime action is something is it means something, right? Payment or payment or favor. A favor. Training. Mm, finding finding a teacher may be difficult too. And that would go back to the investigation stuff. Like you might have to go find a teacher who's willing to teach you. Um, Another bullet point. That's about teachers, and they may be hard and they may require stuff for it, right? So I want to make a different bullet point talking about the of downtime. The amount of downtime required. I should probably make a table. May vary. How do I spell vary? Vary. That kind of vary. Not VER, right? VARY. May vary. Um, I should put the amount of downtime actions. May vary based on the. They might also agree too. Like if you want to use both your downtime actions for a week for someone to train you, they might be like, "Hey, I only want to train you for 8 hours a day, right? I don't want to train you for 16 hours a day for a whole week straight. No, 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 no. We're not doing that, right? So you can only spend one per week, maybe, with the same teacher, and that someone else can't use that teacher, well, of course, because their 8 hours are worked with someone else. Um, or you can maybe double up and both try and get that too at the same time for some regards. There's stuff to there. There's stuff there. Amount of downtime action required may vary based on the of the training. I should put skill. I should put skill because I mean languages are their own kind of skill. Do I need to put a clause for like how many other skills you've acquired as well, right? I don't want to discount the idea of expertise quite yet, but I do. I also want to put a skill check in here, right? So it can be more or less as expected. I don't know. I think that's too. I'd rather reduce the amount of rolling through all this stuff as well. But then players are more inclined to just sit here and we're gonna take 3 months of downtime and get all the stuff we want done and get all the skills and get all the everything. Oh, you know what? You know what might be good. You can get half proficiency in something and then full proficiency later. I think it's a better way to determine it. Yeah, because no one else uses half proficiency, but it's something that we can show. We can definitely delineate between half proficiency and full proficiency and expertise. The level of proficiency desired. I don't. Yeah, because maybe I want them to only be able to read. Okay, yeah, oh. Yeah, what if, like, I'm like, okay, you can read Goblin, but you can't speak it at all. You can't understand it spoken, but you could read it, right? No one would want to do that. It's like, well, why waste time figuring out how to read it? I just need to talk to goblins. They don't write anything down anyway. Okay, so there are different levels to language and skill proficiencies. Ish. See, I'm starting to get tired typing this whole time. The different levels of proficiency to language and skills. Language. Language and skills. You can learn how what how to read and write a language, but not no. Okay. I think I want a clear delineation. I think I want a clear delineation of skill level, right? Peasants can always speak their language, right? It's pretty much common, right? Peasants in medieval time can always speak Polish. They can always speak French. They can always speak Italian. They can always speak Russian, right? They can always speak their base language. But so many of them throughout the entire history, medieval all the way to World War II, before they all slowly could, they were all actually, more than 50% of them were able to write it as well, read and write it. So I want to do this for language. So you can learn to speak it, but you may not be able to learn to read it as well. You can learn how to speak a language, speak a capital L language. Should I use capitals for all this? Maybe, but not W-I, write it. For skills, you can be half proficient, proficient, or an expert. Or and expert. Right, so half proficient means like you are quote unquote proficient as far as like, oh, you're allowed to make skill checks with it now, but you only get like after the first like 4 levels, you're still only allowed to roll a +1 in addition to it. So it's like you're not really getting much of a bonus. But I mean, if your big stat is wisdom, you might as well maybe get at least half proficiency in all those wisdom things. So like you can help out with more skill checks more often, right? And time actions required is may vary based on the difficulty of the skill and the level of proficiency desired. So yeah, learning how to read and write is much more difficult than learning how to speak a language. I'm going to say, at least for the level of this, I think it's also true in the real world, but in the real world, like modern day, we teach both at the same time. And I think I want to delineate that so that people just can't pick 30 different languages. I guess I can kind of limit that, man. Yeah, okay. In skills. Okay, so ignore the language thing, right? If you want to go learn a language, you'll go learn a language. And as a DM, my gatekeeping as to them learning all the languages of the game is you can't find a teacher. You've learned 12 languages. You can't find another teacher for any other. You've got almost all of them. Okay. If levels of proficiency and skills, you can be half proficient, or an expert. Is that everything I need for learning new skills? Player may want to learn a new language, new proficiency with skills and tools. They can do so with downtime actions as long as they have someone who is willing to teach them. The teacher may require payment or a favor from the PC before they agree to the training. Finding a teacher may be difficult too. The amount of downtime actions required may vary based on the difficulty of the skill and the skill level desired. There are different levels of proficiency and skills. You can be half proficient, or an expert. Right? And that's just the regular system that we already know, right? I just need to state that explicitly because I need to remind people that half proficiency should exist and should be the first step. Not you shouldn't skip that for proficiency. The skill, the class features are what can skip that, right? But if this system is designed to be that like you might work to get one or two skills over the life of a whole character, maybe, right? But you should be using this for more important things like investigating or working, you know. I think that's good for learning new skills. That might be as good as it needs to be. Okay. Optional. Do I need optional? What are all the things that you should be able to do with downtime? You want to be able to work, right? I want to be able to investigate things, and I want to be able to learn new skills, right? We're already healing naturally. That's going to happen already. Is there anything else the character is going to want to do except make money, learn stuff, investigate to learn something, or learn a skill about something? No. Optional rule, right? I should put here. Optional rule. Level up. Whenever a player, a character, a PC reaches the experience requirement for the next level, I am so. Not only am I so slow at typing because I'm on stream, but I'm also. Or I should say, not only am I so bad at typing and make so many mistakes, but also so much slower now because I'm triple thinking everything I type. I'm like typing at practically half speed. A piece of reach experience required for the next level. They do not receive the benefits of that level up. Of that up. They take a downtime action to do so. Right? And I, as a DM, am probably going to be like, okay, guys, I want to test all these rules. We're going to use this one, right? Most of the times, if I say optional rule, that might be a player option, something, right? Because something like cover, like how much does a creature standing between you and your target count as cover, right? One thing, and I ask the players and I prompt the players for how they want to roll that as, because for one, if it's just any one person in front of me and my target, as long as they're same size, is going to be like half cover. That's the general rule. I'm pretty sure that's the actual rule, right? But that's tedious, right? So when I'm like, okay, the enemies suffer from that as much as the players are going to, right? The enemies suffer from that same downside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, we're going to ignore the first person in any combat. In any line of sight, something. If there's two, or if the person between is bigger, one tier bigger, right? Then we'll talk. Then it'll start a half cover, and then 3/4 cover, and then full cover and stuff. But that simplifies everything. It's like, oh, is there cover in the way? Right? No, there's only one dude of the same size as that dude you're trying to hit. So no, we just ignore that. It helps with a lot of questioning, saves time for that kind of thing. What it does is people kind of forget about it sometimes. They're like, oh, there's two guys out there. You get half cover. Like, what? Oh, right. We use cover. cover rules and stuff, right? Sometimes you got to re-explain it, um, which happens. It's fine. Um, do I need to actually do I need to actually put any more than that? Whenever PC reaches the experience requirement for the next level, they do not receive the benefits of that level until they take a downtime action to do so. Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. I think that's a very, very good and simplified thing. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Okay. We're gonna go. I don't even know if I needed fantasy grounds in the back in the background for this because I think I'm gonna end this stream before we get to too much. But maybe. Okay. What's the control enter? Okay. Guns. Because that's number two on the list of things I was hoping to talk about. And when I mean and more in the stream title, I meant like, oh, how do we define risks and stuff, and maybe the town types, all the cool other babbling that I do. That is surely interesting. Surely that's why you guys are all here watching this because of all the extra babbling and not just the raw rules. Guns. How do I want to do this? How did I start this when I initially put these together? So for me, let's just talk through it first. So for me, guns in a D&D setting are very, very simple. I don't want them to be very complicated and cause a bunch of real rules and stuff. I want them to be something supportive as another weapon option that is unique, right? This doesn't need to be something that's overpowered. It doesn't need to be something that every character will want to have, right? I had that issue last time I ran this. Every character wanted a gun. Not because they were cool, but because you could fire them on bonus actions. So every wizard's like, I'm going to cast Fireball and shoot my gun. Right? The gun almost never hit. It wasn't important, but they were using their bonus action and not getting anything out of it most of the time. So it was just kind of dumb for them to all have guns, but they all had guns. So guns. There are three types of guns. So I imagine guns in my setting, it's much simpler to have them be cartridge-based. Now, I don't mean that you can have fully automatic weapons, right? We're gonna have three weapon types, maybe four. I've been thinking about a fourth that I like. I just don't know how to make it unique. So we're gonna have. Maybe I do. We'll work on it. I'm gonna put four there. We're gonna try and make the fourth one. There are four types of guns. We're going to completely ignore the idea of cannons, right? That's water stuff. If I'll come up with something on the spot for it. There are four types of guns. There are four types of guns. Period. They are a revolver. I'm going to say double barrel shotgun, but you can have. I'm going to say break barrel shotgun. Right? Break barrel shotgun, and I mean that can be a single fire or that can be a double fire shotgun. Because I kind of do want a almost like a tier to these things, and a like single break barrel shotgun is what I'm hoping is going to be like the best, like lowest tier of gun that people are going to have access to. Because revolvers are going to be really fancy. You got a bunch of extra ammo. Lever guns. What am I spelling? I'm not spelling anything. And bolt action rifles. Period. The bolt action rifle one is the one I'm not sure is gonna be unique, and it kind of does set a weird precedent. And that's mostly because I know the history of guns and the idea of like the revolver and the shotgun and lever guns and the absolutely like brilliant jump to a bolt action rifle was, because there were like needle rifles in between there. And we ignore, and bolt action rifles are generally like the rifling got a lot better and the like barrel making got a lot better. Smokeless powder and stuff, right, is all there. And I kind of want to divorce that real life stuff. But I don't want them to have automatic weapons, right? You're not going to get automatic weapons. You're going to get semi-automatic weapons, kind of. These are going to act kind of like semi-automatic weapons, but this is just me trying to make 4 weapon types that are going to feel unique, right? They feel like they fill a slot that is not just roleplay wise, right? I want them to be actually the same damage and same effectiveness as crossbows, how they already are, but I want them to be like, oh, I want a gun in the game. Let's try that. And I want them to feel unique over crossbows. So there are 4 types of guns. They are revolver, break barrel, shotgun, lever guns, and bolt action. Rifles. Break barrel, shotgun. Okay, so revolver. This is a one-handed firearm. Firearm. Okay, I think I want to do a preface of things. Because my last playset of rules said that guns can be fired as a bonus action, right? Guns and guns inherently have a reloading option that is different from crossbows, right? So I want to preface this. Guns are... What did I just say? I completely forgot. It's not even that hot in my room. I'm slowly, my creative like genius has been dwindling throughout all of this, and I'm losing it. Right, like I'm writing a term paper or something, and I'm slowly draining like all the energy out of me, and all the brain cells are leaking out of my brains and onto the floor as I keep working through this. It's much more fun than a term paper, but it's just as draining, is what I'm trying to say. Guns are fired. No, I should say firearms. Firearms. There are 4 types of firearms. They are revolver, break barrel, shotgun, and bolt action rifles. Firearms are fired as an action, and each have unique QUE, right? Have unique reloading properties. Firearms are fired as an action and each have unique reloading properties. Revolver, one-handed firearm. Okay, so revolver. Let me sit up so I'm not like hunching over the computer again, because of how my desk is set up. I'm gonna lean back so I look a little more professional in the camera. One-handed firearm. Most important thing, you want to find out how much damage a revolver does. It deals 1d6 of piercing damage. So d6 is like a hand crossbow is a d6, I'm pretty sure. Deals 1d6 piercing damage. And can fire 6 times. It's a 6-shooter. Right? And I think I could delineate and have them like give them a 5-chamber or an 8-chamber revolver. Generally, so yeah, I should put... Generally can fire 6 times before Reloading. Right, so that helps like lead into the idea that there could be exceptions to that. Reloading requires taking a full action to reload a single revolver. And then last but not least, one of the cool. Oh, I got to talk about range. Um, range is probably like 2060. 5 6 times for reloading. Reloading requires taking a full action to reload a single revolver. That sounds reasonable. What I want to delineate as well, one of the unique things about the revolver, right? Its range is short, its damage is weak, but the unique thing is a second. If a second revolver. Oh, 1d6 plus dex of piercing damage, right? There's right. It's strength doesn't make sense. Dex doesn't really make strength sense either. Um, but I mean, like you're kind of aiming more accurately with Dex. Maybe I could make them like I've been up in the air about this, and I don't want to make it this make it too complicated, right? It's a ranged weapon. It uses Dex. Period. Done. Right. It's exactly the same as crossbows. You don't have to memorize any weird rules, right? Oh, you can use wisdom as well as Dex. Oh, you can use intelligence as well as Dex. No. It's just a Dex thing, like everything else. I'm sorry. I just needs to be simple for that. If a second revolver it is in your offhand, then after you fire your main hand weapon, you can fire as a bonus action. Okay. So what am I saying here? If a second revolver is wielded on your offhand, then after you fire your main hand revolver, you can fire the offhand revolver as bonus action. Right? It's like a rogue or a ranger wants to do two weapon fighting. All right, I'm gonna. Can I attack with my bonus action? Absolutely not. You have to attack with an action first, then you're allowed to attack with your bonus action. Right? Same rules there, and it is only for the revolver, right? You have to have two in each hand. So you got to have two guns first off, right? So it doesn't get too powerful too quick, right? I can kind of gate that two attacks per round, which isn't super rare in Dungeons and Dragons at first level. It's not the hardest thing to get, but I can kind of gate that by being like, you got to have two of them, right? You're spending extra actions, and you can only reload one revolver per round, essentially, right? You can't fire it if you don't fire your first one, so you're stuck firing the guns your whole round, right? You only get a reaction, right? And your hands are full, so like, what are you going to do with your reaction, right? You can't pistol whip them, right? Or maybe I would allow like blades or something, but I mean, that's not something super important. That's a revolver. Okay, the next one is the break barrel shotgun. And this is the one I'm also a little bit. This is a two-handed firearm. Actually, do they all? Should I say unique reloading properties? Because I can cut out some of this. Reloading requiring takes a full action to reload a single revolver. I'm gonna put it all in here, and if I get to the end and I'm like requiring is the full action, then yes, I for all of them. And if I decide that's good and fancy and fair, then I can decide that um, then I can decide if I want to simplify and put it all in just the firearms rule in general, that they all reload as an action. I want to try and do that, right? Two-handed firearm uh, deals 1d8 plus dex. Okay, so here's one of the ideas that is unique about like the breakbelt shotgun. This is what I want to make it so it's unique versus everything else. Um, I have two different ideas, right? One is simpler, right? One is just that break barrel shotgun. It uses shotgun ammo, right? It just uses buckshot. There's nothing else that exists in the world. Um, and you fire it, and targets that are beyond your close range, beyond your 20 close range, right? If they're 40 and 60 away, or between 20 and 60 away, you can target up to two creatures with the same attack, right? Maybe they have disadvantage. You have disadvantage on both those shots they have, but you could target both of them with a single shot, right? That's the uniqueness of a break barrel shotgun, right? Um, it kind of sucks if you have to reload it with an action every single time. So it's got to be a double barrel shotgun, right? You can't just have a single barrel shotgun. Hmm. Because yeah, if reloading is every single is one action for all of them. See, this is why I kind of mentioned that. Like, oh, I don't think I can get away with reloading as an action for all of them because you have two rounds. You fire both of them. If these aren't like very strong rounds, it's wasting your next turn. Um, although maybe that's good. Like maybe you know what? 2d6. I'm gonna 2d6 plus dex this. Right? That way, okay, so it feels like this is very strong. You're going to pull out a shotgun, blam, blam. You're going to fire your two shots in two different rounds. Or maybe you're going to fire one, you're going to do some melee fighting, right? This is the melee fighter's gun, a shotgun, right? A melee fighter's gun, right? You're going to go get in melee, and you're going to have two rounds in the barrel, right? You're not going to waste the time during combat to use an action to reload it. So those two rounds are really important to you. You're gonna go fight some dude. Oh, that guy's out of range. I'm gonna pull out my shotgun. Maybe there's two of them over there. I'm gonna try and hit both of them. Blam, blam. You know, firearms are fighters in action. Each have unique related properties. Um, they also benefit from multi attack. Okay, that I want to delineate. That way they scale, of course, for marshals at fifth as well. Let's see, 200 firearm deals 2d6 plus dex damage. You're seeing? Um, range is also 20, 60. Generally can fire one, two, or potentially more times, right? I'm not gonna discount a quad barrel, Doom, super gun, a super shotgun, but you know, Yeah, that's. We'll leave out the potentially. Oh, can fire one or two times before reloading. Okay. See, the thing is, if I want to add different ammunitions options to this, it's gonna kind of be dumb, right? I feel like this should be the big damage dealer, right? You get 2d6. This is your great sword. This is your great sword for combat. Um, but it comes with the downside of you taking too long to reload, right? So I don't want to have like 30 different shotgun options. And really, it'd be like four, right? You'd have buckshot, you'd have slug, dragon's breath, and I don't know. Flechette seems way too complicated for what we're doing, but theoretically, something like that. And really, the only difference is that you're gonna deal. The buckshot allows. Oh no, like right, the slug might be a range shot, right? You can fire to the full 60 without disadvantage. That could be the slug, and the buckshot is the like spread thing. I don't think we're gonna delineate between the ammo. I think ammo is a waste of time. I think we want simple, and it's gonna just have one unique thing. Attacking a creature at long range. You can also target another creature within 5 feet of the first of the other. When attacking, I need a capital W. When attacking a creature at long range, you can also target another creature within 5 feet of the other. Within 5 feet of the other, and make an attack against it as well. I need to fix up that wording because when I say make an attack against it well, you can miscue that as you're firing another shot, right? Attacking a creature long range, you also target another creature within 5 feet of the other. Um, make a make a separate attack roll for both creatures. Right? When attacking a creature at long range, you can also target another creature within 5 feet of the other. I think first is better. Make a separate attack roll for both creatures. Right? And I don't want to like go into like super explicitly say this, but like obviously if he is in cover, right, you can't target him as well. Maybe I do need to. As long as there's no cover. Should I say for either creature? Should I say just for one? Again, this is getting way too complicated. I should say as long as you have line of sight. That's good enough. Make a separate attack roll for both creatures. When attacking a creature at long range, you can also target another creature within 5 feet of the first, as long as you have, line of sight, and make a separate attack roll for both creatures. Okay, I like it. I think that's it. Right, that's the unique thing for the shotgun. So lever gun. Two-handed firearm. And I think I want this to be the like D8. Plus Dex. Piercing damage. Now this is where range changes. All right, range. I think it's what 80, 240 is for 8240. I need to look up. Here we go. This is why we pulled out fantasy grants. We can look at items. So we can look at crossbow. So crossbow bolt, crossbow bolts, crossbow, hand crossbow. Player's handbook. Okay. 3120. Okay. It's a hand crossbow. A heavy crossbow is 100, 400. Okay. It's a light crossbow, 80, 320. Okay. It must be over here. It's 150, 60. Okay. Just compared it to everything else. I think 8240 is good, right? We don't want too much range. We don't want too much range on this. Crap, what is the longbow again? I really forgot the longbow. I want to put this over here so I can see it at the same time. Longbow says 150, 600. Also, it's also heavy, which is, I forget what that means. Heavy and two-handed. Precision range 80 to 40. What's the next important thing? Generally can fire. I don't know. Fire 7 times. Right, it's got the tube magazine. I'm imagining it's got the tube magazine, right? And I know they make them so they can like fit almost 20 rounds in there of like 45 or whatnot, depending on the round. Listen, just the basic one generally can fire 7 times. Before requiring before requiring a reload. I should put that for all of them. Requiring a reload. Before requiring a reload. I guess I'll have both. If I sometimes for required a reload. All right, so that's just so like players maybe too can understand. Like I can imagine giving a player with one with more ammunition or whatever, or they modify it themselves if they get trained in gunsmithing and whatnot. Yeah, I'm already gonna remove this. And each take and reload. Okay, what am I at? This is the unique. What's unique about the lever gun? Is there anything unique about the lever gun? Because I'm just thinking like this is a ranged weapon that can fire far away. Right. This is why I'm up in the air about the bolt action rifle existing, because I think range with the lever gun, like I could put that out to 120 and 360 and leave it at that and be like, this is your long range option, the lever gun. Congratulations. And remove the bolt action rifle. And I think that's what I'm gonna do for now. Right. I don't think I can make a lever gun like what I do. You can fan the hammer on a revolver just as fast as a lever gun. That's not unique. You could, if I added something like that, I'd just leave it right. That wouldn't be unique. What I want to do is range enough uniqueness? Maybe it is. Maybe I should round that to 8 times before reloading for the base model lever gun, because that ends up being a rounder number for the multi attackers, because they're gonna run out. Or maybe that's just me being mean, right? They're gonna fire once, blam 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 blam, blam, and then not. We'll change it to 8 just so they get one. They don't have a round where they only get one shot. The multi attackers. Oh, but like a 11th level fighter who can fire 3 times a round, he's gonna be like blam 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 blam, and then blam blam. Then he's missing one round. Okay, that I do think I like. Okay, 120 and 360. Oops, 360, right? Should I do 150? Like, let's just make it a longbow. Let's just make it a longbow for now. Why not? And honestly, the shotgun and the revolver, like I think the revolver is like throwing weapons, but the shotgun, maybe I give it a more range. Ah, no, I want it to be too crazy. 60 is a long range as it is. It's more like the short 20 range kind of limiting you, right? But it's like a good, like, I am swordman guy. Oh, kill, kill, kill. Oh, I need to shoot something far away. Ah, that's the ideal situation for this shotgun, right? I think that's as good as we're going to get. There are 3 types of firearms. I need to change that. Okay. They are the revolver, breaker shotgun, and lever guns. Or lever gun. Okay. And I think that's going to work better than my other rules, because I ran what were very similar rules before, where it was like where it just evolved into most of them were spellcasters, and even if they weren't, right, they had a revolver in their offhand. They were just firing as bonus action. That was the thing I wanted to end. I didn't want everyone to just have one in their offhand and fire it as a bonus action every single time, right? I'm gonna force everyone. You got to do an action, right? This is just another crossbow adjacent kind of thing, but they're unique, right? The revolver can, dual wield. You can dual wield a revolver very effectively. And reloading, you don't got to worry about reloading with them as much, but you got to worry about them more because it takes a whole action to reload them. Um, which I mean, for as much time as it takes to reload a crossbow, really unrealistic that these guns take a whole action to reload. Maybe the revolver, that's kind of comparable, at least a little bit, but the shotgun just done, right? Lever gun, just they slide into the tube for them. So I don't know. I think that's pretty good. Let's, I guess, review our brainstorming stuff. So essentially, rests, right? We're building some downtime stuff, mostly because we want players to do something, have downtime actions, do want them to do downtime stuff. We don't want them to just be adventurers and go from 1 to 20 in a month, right? We want them to spend downtime and do stuff, right? And what do? Well, they don't always have to just do nothing, right? They're going to work. They're going to need to make money because we want to buy potions, right? We want to buy potions. That's pretty much all you're going to be able to buy with this money. And that does, as you level up, get to be better money per hour or per week, which is good. It scales, right? We built in a scaling system. We want to be able to investigate so that players can kind of make their own quest lean-ins, right? Oh, hey, I want to find a magic item. Oh, you're going to go steal a logbook from this guy. Well, he's pissed now a week later because you took a logbook from him, right? Right? The money-making, rogue pickpocketing stuff is not going to... I don't want that to turn into an issue, right? You're just making money, but you investigate, and that leads to stuff, right? That's what leads to stuff. This helps us get new quests, new adventures, new stuff to do, right? And learning new skills is something that players may want to do, right? It sucks when you don't know languages. Hey, we're gonna go fight, giants for the next 6 months, and no one's gonna be able to understand what the hell they're saying. Let's all go learn giant during our downtimes, because we're gonna have to go back and level up eventually. Because I really think this optional rule shouldn't be optional. I feel like the game you're trying to play, you're gonna want to put players back. You're gonna make them go back home. It's at least you got to spend one downtime. So why not figure something else to do with that other one? And note here, there's nothing to get more EXP. We're not going to ever give them more EXP because even though I think there's not the biggest issue with that, that's just not the kind of game that I run. If you want to say you want to train and get more EXP, train under someone specifically on top of maybe leveling up or whatnot, go for it. But that's not the way that I like running my games and stuff anymore. I have tried it in the past, and I think it's a waste. I would rather just have the players all at the same level, right? There's no competition. No one's getting more or less XP for any reason. You miss a game, big whoop. You can still have the XP. I don't care. We're all here to have fun. But I think that's a good little 3 hours of work. Oh, we're not even at 3 hours. Almost 2 hours, 40 minutes. That's a good bit of brainstorming, and maybe I'll sleep on this and think better of it. But you know what? I wanted to stream, and that's what I did. I streamed, lost some brain cells, but the brain cells are on paper, right? Theoretically. And even though I didn't end up using Fantasy Grounds, you know what? I did use the Fantasy Grounds, right? To see what the skill list is and reference it, and that's Steam. That's how I launched Fantasy Grounds. But this was mostly the main work, and I can put this in the Fantasy Grounds later. I'm tired, exhausted, and now hungry. So that's where we're going to leave it off for today. I almost want to make a video to put this all down separately. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that in the future. But for today, that's all we have. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. I'll have to see you next time.